Hi folks, Thibaut here and welcome to Paris-Gare de Lyon for a new adventure on a rail. This week we are traveling to the south of France, to the Occitanie region, and guess what? We will travel almost exclusively by train, thanks to the brand new Occitanie Rail Tour Pass. This pass will take us to two of the most unique trains in France, the Train Jaune and the steam train of the Cevennes. But we will get to that in a second, so let's go.
Located in the south of France, the Occitanie region spans over 70,000 square kilometers and comprises 13 departments with nearly 6 million inhabitants. With a perfect balance between the Mediterranean seaside and the Pyrenees mountain, the Occitanie is known for its vibrant and diverse area, rich in history, culture and natural beauty.
But is it accessible by train?
Of course it is, and you will have plenty of choices. You can take the high-speed train TGV Inouï and we go from Paris-Gare de Lyon to Nîmes, Montpellier, Agde, Narbonne or Perpignan. You can also take the high-speed train from Paris-Montparnasse with direct TGV Inouï and we go services to Toulouse. The Occitanie region is also one of the best in France when it comes to night train, my favorite. 5 different night trains connect the region to Paris. You can travel from Tarbes, Aurillac, Rodez, Nîmes, Toulouse or La Tour de Carol by night trains. And we actually gathered over 30 itineraries on Hoyt Voyage for you to reach the region easily.
But once you get to Occitanie, what's the best way to get around? Let me tell you about the Occitanie Rail Tour.
The Occitanie Rail Tour Pass is a ticket that gives you unlimited travel within the region for only €10 a day per person. You will have access to any regional train without any reservation. Just hop on and hop off where you want. Considering the vast size and diverse landscape of the Occitanie region, this pass is perfect for exploring different areas without damaging your carbon footprint or your wallet.
And you know me folks, I love showing you my adventure by train. By using the Occitanie Rail Tour Pass, I discover so much more than trains, such as the fact that I overcome my fear of heights, the biggest bamboo forest in Europe, the mining past of the region, some of the prettiest French villages. But of course I will talk also about train, since the Occitanie Rail Tour brought us to two of the most beautiful trains in France, the Train Jaune, which is the oldest regional train in the country, and the beautiful steam train of the Cevennes.
Our trip began in Anduze, where we visited the amazing bambouseraie. This impressive bamboo forest, the largest in Europe, can be reached by train via Alès and by bus from Nîmes. The bambouseraie is truly remarkable. With its unique natural beauty in the heart of the Cevennes, it even features a dedicated area inspired by Laos and Japan. The bambouseraie is also accessible by train, as the steam train of the Cevennes stops right in the middle of the forest. But more on that later. And while you're in the area, don't miss out on the stunning village of Anduze. It's quintessential France at its finest. Next, we explored Alès, also known as the capital of the Cevennes. Here we delve into the mining history of the region. Coming from the north of France, I was surprised to learn that this area was once very active in mining, like in the north. Alès served as our starting point for our journey toward the north of Occitanie, to a part of France I was unfamiliar with, the Lozère, a department located in the heart of the Cevennes. And visiting Lozère had been on my bucket list because I wanted to experience one of the most scenic train routes in France, the line of the Cevennes and the mighty Cevennes. The views along the route were breathtaking, especially that moment on the bridge of Chamborigo. We stopped in Villefort to explore its surroundings, including the beautiful lake Villefort. we biked to the medieval village of Guedes-Vieira, which is considered one of the most beautiful villages in France, and it was an unforgettable experience to reach it by bike. During this trip, I overcame my fear of heights by doing some via ferrata above the lake Villefort. It was challenging, but I made it to the end. With the stunning view from the railway bridge providing some motivation for me, I particularly love this part of France for its greenery and tranquility. If you enjoy nature, train and peace, this place is for you folks. And after a wonderful time in Lozère, we headed south toward the Pyrenees and the Spanish border to discover what's probably the most unique train in France, starting in the small yet beautiful village of Villefranche-Vernay-les-Bains, but more on that soon.
Now that you know a bit more about some of the wonder of the Occitanie region, let's get back to the real subject you're all waiting for, the historical train.
Before I delve deeper into the subject, I would like to outline that these two touristic trains are not included in the Occitanie Rail Tour Pass and require you to buy additional tickets. The Train Jaune is one of the oldest trains still in service in France. It was inaugurated in 1910 by the Compagnie du Midi and has been operating without interruption ever since. It's remarkable to think that these carriages were built before the First World War and still run daily between La Tour de Carol at the French-Spanish border and Villefranche-Vernay-les-Bains. At both ends of the line you can connect with regular TER service. In Villefranche you can catch a TER service to Perpignan, and in La Tour de Carol you can connect to a TER service heading to Toulouse or even Barcelona with Rodalies de Catalunya. An interesting fact about La Tour de Carol is that it's the only station in France with 3 different track gauges: the Iberian gauge, the standard gauge and the metric gauge for the Train Jaune. Additionally, the Train Jaune draws its power from a third rail, a system widely used in the previous century but still functioning perfectly today. It's truly impressive how this train continues to operate so smoothly every day. The Train Jaune also holds the record for the highest SNCF station, with the bulkhead end station situated at 1592 meters above sea level. Scenery-wise, the Train Jaune is simply outstanding. The fact that you can open the window makes the experience even more enjoyable. And you can also travel in one of the open carriages for an even more immersive experience. I will let you guess which carriage was my favorite. For the first part of the journey, the train climbed along the Tête Valley before reaching its highest point at Bulkhead End. Once at the top, you can enjoy the stunning view of the Pyrenees from the beautiful mountain plateau of Cevennes. Here you will discover green fields filled with cows and horses, charming villages and snowy mountains in the background. My favorite moment was the crossing of the Cassagne Bridge, the last suspension rail bridge still in operation in France, and it was breathtaking. This is the steam train of the Cevennes, a beautiful touristic train located in the heart of the Cevennes, and it links Saint-Jean-du-Gard and Anduze. This 13-kilometer long line was abandoned in the 70s when one of the last factories in our area closed. Since then, it has operated as a tourist train run by passionate individuals. And we had the chance to visit a workshop where they maintain their steam train and repair engines for many other historical railway companies. Although I'm not the biggest fan of steam train, seeing the workshop and their collection of trains was a true pleasure. And be aware that not all trips are operated by a steam train. Some trips are hauled by a diesel engine, like this old SNCF engine. Once the steam engine was attached to the consist, we were invited to spend most of the trip in the cabin. And what a trip it was! I was impressed by the amount of work required to drive a steam engine. Our locomotive was a German steam engine built in 1937. The train traveled along the Gardon Valley and through the Rochers d'Anduze, which are considered the gate of the Cevennes. The views are truly breathtaking, especially the moment when I was hanging out the door of the steam engine with the blue water just below me and the train behind me. I will never forget that experience. And one of the coolest things about this train is that you can get on and get off at the Bonjour, as they have a dedicated stop just above the forest. I highly suggest combining your trip on the steam train with the visit to the Bonjour.
Alright folks, that's it for today's video. It was a bit different from the usual format, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you're considering a trip to France and the Occitanie region, I highly suggest you to take the Occitanie Rail Tour Pass, which is the best way to discover this beautiful region. I will link something in the description to know more about this pass. In the meantime, I will see you next week for another adventure on the rails.